What percentage of your income are you really putting into savings? Most people don't stop to calculate that. But when you look at the actual numbers, it's hard not to be concerned. Right now, the average savings rate in the United States is about 4%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. That means if you take home $50,000 after taxes in a year, and you manage to save $2,000, you're right on track with the national average. Sounds okay on the surface, but here's the problem. Financial experts recommend saving anywhere from 10% to 20% of your income just to maintain long-term financial health, especially for retirement. And that 4%, it's not even close. That 4% includes everything. Savings accounts, emergency funds, retirement contributions, even investments. So when you realize most Americans are only saving a tiny fraction of what they actually need, it becomes clear that we're heading into a financial future that a lot of people simply aren't prepared for. Even worse, that number isn't trending in the right direction. In the past, Americans were saving more. Back in the 1970s and 1980s, the personal savings rate was typically in the range of 10% to 13%. In fact, during some parts of the mid-1970s, it peaked near 17%. But today, despite higher incomes, access to financial tools, and more financial literacy resources than ever, the average person is saving less. So, what happened? Let's start with the obvious. The cost of living has exploded. Rent, healthcare, childcare, education, and groceries have all gone up dramatically over the past decade. And for many people, wages haven't kept up. According to Zillow, the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment in the U.S. is now around $2,000 per month. And that doesn't include utilities, internet, or basic living expenses. If you're looking to buy, it's not much better. Mortgage rates have risen to between 6.5% and 7.5%. Let's break that down. Just a few years ago, a $400,000 home at a 3% interest rate with 10% down had a monthly payment of roughly $1,500. Today, that same home, at current interest rates, costs about $2,400 per month. That's a $900 monthly difference. Not because the home changed, but because borrowing costs soared. And we haven't even touched childcare yet. Full-time daycare now ranges between $1,000 and $1,500 per child per month. That's $12,000 to $18,000 a year. For two kids, you're looking at $30,000 annually. That's as much as a second mortgage. And don't forget healthcare. Even with employer-sponsored plans, families often spend $6,000 to $8,000 a year in premiums alone. Not to mention out-of-pocket expenses for prescriptions, copays, and deductibles. There's also a massive shift in behavior, and that's just as important. We're living in a culture where debt is not just normal, it's expected. It starts early. Student loans for education, credit cards for emergencies and everyday spending, car loans because you need a reliable vehicle, buy now, pay later options for everything from sneakers to smartphones. Even vacations are being financed. According to LendingTree, the average new car payment in America is now $742 per month. That's just one car. Many households have two. That's over $1,400 a month going to vehicles that are dropping in value every single day. Now think about this for a second. If someone is paying $2,000 in rent, $1,400 in car payments, and maybe $600 in student loans or credit card bills, that's already $4,000 a month before they even eat. There's nothing left to save, and yet many people don't even see a problem with it. Spending has become second nature. It's not unusual to stop by the store on the way home and casually spend $100 on things you didn't plan to buy, or to go out to eat and drop another $100 on a nice meal. And do that several times a week. Treating yourself is fine, but the problem is it's happening regularly, almost unconsciously, and it's slowly bleeding people dry. Why? Because everyone else is doing it, and because social pressure has made it seem normal. You're expected to have a nice car. You're expected to dress a certain way. You're expected to keep up with trends. If you don't have the latest iPhone or the newest home decor, it can feel like you're falling behind. But here's the truth. That pressure to spend is putting people in a dangerous position financially, and most don't realize it until it's too late. But it's not just consumer behavior either. It's also about income, or the lack of it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is staying in the same job for years and accepting minimal pay raises. According to Forbes, employees who stay in the same company typically get an average raise of about 3% a year. But with inflation hovering around 3% to 4% annually, that raise barely keeps you afloat. Over time, staying put means falling behind. If you've gained skills, experience, and results, and you're not getting paid accordingly, it's time to move. Many people don't ask for raises. Others feel too loyal or too tired to search for new roles. But that loyalty can cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your career. And when your income doesn't grow, your ability to save doesn't grow either. It's a double hit. You're earning less and spending more. And that's exactly how savings vanish. Now here's the scary part. When people don't have savings, everything becomes riskier. Car breaks down, you swipe a credit card. Medical emergency, you drain the account. Job loss, you fall behind on rent or bills within a few weeks. Emergencies become disasters when there's no cushion in place. And over time, that can spiral into bigger problems. Evictions, foreclosures, bankruptcy, and long-term stress. This isn't just a personal issue either, it's an economic one. When millions of people lack savings, the economy as a whole becomes more fragile. During tough times, people cut spending fast, which affects businesses. That means more layoffs, more defaults, and slower recovery. In short, low personal savings weaken the entire financial system. Not just for individuals, but for everyone. So what can be done? The obvious answer is save more, but that's not enough. It's too simplistic. The real change needs to come from addressing the reasons people don't save in the first place. And that starts with being content. It's not about never spending, it's about understanding what you actually need and being okay with it. You don't need to upgrade your phone every year. You don't need to lease a car you can't afford just to impress people who aren't even paying attention. Practicing contentment doesn't mean living like a monk. It means realizing that chasing more is what's keeping you broke. The next step, push for more income. Don't settle. Apply for jobs that pay more. Start a side hustle. Learn a skill that lets you earn on your own terms. You don't need to become a millionaire overnight, but you do need to take your income seriously because no one else will. And most importantly, create a plan. Saving without a goal feels pointless, so set targets. Build an emergency fund. Save for a home. Put money into a retirement account. Even if you're starting small, it builds momentum. And once you see that account grow, it gets easier to keep going. A 4% savings rate might just sound like a number, but it reflects something much deeper about where we're headed as a society. It's a warning, not just about money, but about mindset. If we want that number to rise, we need both individual responsibility and collective change. Because without savings, we're all just one emergency away from collapse. It's also important to talk about mindset. Many people grow up around financial struggle, and without realizing it, they inherit beliefs that limit their ability to build wealth. They might think saving is only for the rich, or that money is meant to be spent as soon as it's earned. But that mindset keeps people stuck. Saving isn't just about having money, it's about building options. Options to walk away from a bad job. Options to invest. Options to take time off when life demands it. When you shift how you think about money, you stop seeing savings as a sacrifice and start seeing it as freedom.